Hello, hello, my crafty friends. It's Monday in our new time. I need to be able to see. Oh, I'm going to be so glad when this arm stops giving me grief. Right. Yay. So I'm looking forward to seeing y'all here. Get my sharing done. I hope y'all had a good weekend. I have been very busy working on some things, but I thought we'd take a look at Scenic. I didn't get to play much this weekend. My weekend was convincing myself that I did not need everything I thought I needed, right? We all know how that goes. I have my tape for my... There's a lot of die cuts, and the die cuts in this set that we're going to look at make all the difference in the world. There we go. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome. All right. Get up on my little stool. Try and get this straight. It's just crazy to me. I try to get it straight before I get up here, but then it never works. How was your weekend? I think that's pretty decently straight. It's going to be as good as it gets today. Look at these pretty colors, right? These are colors that make my heart happy. And I thought that we would take a little bit closer look at this really neat set. This is the dies for the Sunset Coast, and the stamps. These go together. We're going to look at the Scenic Coast paper. They have some really fancy paper that I got to also open, and let's take a look. They have some beautiful sequins that go with this. Amazing home. A lot of stuff from college, like for the year, for the summer. And then I pulled out our colors that go with this, which is Balmy Blue, Blueberry Bushel, our cranberries here. I should do my Roy G. Biv. So here's my Sunset. And then we have our two beautiful purples here, which I have not played with Highland Heather, which is funny because Highland Heather was part of the lavender set. Hi, Barbara. And the lavender set was like one of the ones I bought just before we got the information that we were going to be joining Stampin' Up. So gorgeous green. So very pretty palette, of which I'm just going to kind of set to the side. And let's take a look at our stamps. So I've already set them up. I've taken a transparency sheet. You can buy them the heavier ones very inexpensively from Amazon. So use the inexpensive ones. Did a photocopy, so I kind of know, and an outline, so I kind of know where the stamps are at. I have seriously a set of dies here, guys. I do not know where the stuff came from, and I'm going to need to look it up by ideas. Let's see, I pulled out an embossing folder to maybe play with, which is the Waves, Soft Waves. You may or may not have this. I don't know if it's still in play or not. I also grabbed some of our beautiful cardstock. Now, the black cardstock is really heavy, guys. So when you are trying to do die cutting with it, you can't do two sheets like you can with like the other cardstock or the two-tone. Two-tone is really easy to do two sheets with. Okay, so I wanted to show you, this is a card front that I just cut, and I centered this piece in, which is the die, and I wanted to just kind of show you guys, this is the Post-it note tape, and Looks like I may need to pick out a couple of little pieces in here that you can see. Yeah, that looks like it's all attached. But that creates that card front, and this is going to be important as we go down here in a little bit. Here's the lighthouse. I love lighthouses. I think we're going to go up and Sarah Grace's, that girl is trying to do so much right now with summer school and working. She's only got like 6 days off this week or this summer. It's crazy. So we're going to go up to Port Townsend, I think, and take a look around there. Okay. I want to get these out. And the way I do my sheets now, if you guys have kind of been following, isn't that pretty, you guys? I just love it. And you really want to make sure that you get these little pieces out of here, the weeding, because when you put this onto the paper, which is gorgeous. Bernice, are you late? Normally it's me that's late. I went live and had to start all over again. I was trying to make it straight, and then I accidentally went live. That's always fun. Oops, I tore that one. And I have a little bit of my tape here. And this is stuck on here because when I was trying to cut it, I was trying to do 2 sheets at a time, and that just didn't work very well. So here's the first one. So we have 2 of those. We have one of these beautiful. Look at that. That's this piece right here. And then I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to get rid of things. And then I have the fishnet and a fence. And I have some of the other smaller pieces that are just kind of hanging out here on the die. And we're just going to leave them here on the dies. And these are just kind of going to take this off. I don't need it sticking. But this is still usable. It's enough that it's not going to tear the paper, but still there. But I want to just kind of keep that here to the side. And we're going to put those into our die sheet so we don't lose them. Have extra black because this is clearly a set that needs to have the black. Look at those vivid colors. We're going to do a lot of silhouetting. Put that into here. So I noticed that Stampin' Up! Has these silicone mats, and they're nice and small, like 6 by 6. So we're going to try those out too. Could be our newest sign. Get that black out of here. Look at this, guys. I already made a big, huge mess, and here's my little sweep. Oh my goodness. All right. So this is just out here in case we decide that maybe we should do an embossing piece. Now this paper, I'm not completely sure. From Navy Yard. What are you doing at Navy Yard? Leslie. That's directed at Leslie. What you doing at the Navy Yard? A long time since I've been down there. Okay. This is very vellum-y. Yeah, this is like a vellum. And it's got a sheen to it that's kind of like a sparkly without being... I don't know if you guys can see. Yep, there you go. You can see that. I need to turn this other light on. And that'll help. So that's really pretty. And that is in the balmy blue and then a pink. I guess a lighter version maybe of the strawberry slush. And so, and then like you have 2 sheets of blue, 2 sheets of this, and then 2 sheets of this very, I would almost say that that's that peach. No, it's like petal. It's like the first color in the subtles. So that's out. We'll have that. This is very curly. Even though it's been flat, I'm not really sure the why of it. And the sentiments are really nice too. Wherever this note finds you, wishing you a lifetime of joy. Could be a lot. Adventures continue. You brighten my day. Anniversary retirement. Congratulations. I'll keep this. We have a lot. We still know a lot of military peeps that are retiring and doing their thing. So this is a set that I'll hang on to just for that reason. We don't need these here. We already did that test. All right. So let's make a card. This is really not being super nice to me. Okay. And then I did a little bit of the die cutting ahead of time because I just wasn't sure how this was going to look. Did anybody order this set yet? Just out of curiosity. The paper, the stamps, you have a work trip. Nice to visit DC. Nice to go home, right? You could use a lot of other colors besides the colors listed because this is like the Night of Navy. So you could definitely use some other colors. Let's look at this. So here is this. Some different ideas of how to play with this. What do you guys think? I think this is just really pretty paper. And almost anything you were to do with this, look. You know, you have the ability to really figure out where you want this to show up. And maybe you want the rocks to be a little bit on the darker side here. And that sun to be over like that. Just because the rocks are darker. Just an idea. Here's our sailboat. I kind of like this a little bit better just because you get a nice sun. But then our, kind of fun if this actually had a, yeah, to get that darker side in there so that it's really dark behind that. There is kind of a metallic piece of this. It is really, you got it. I am not surprised, Barbara. I am not surprised. This is kind of pretty. And that makes the rocks a little bit darker. And I don't know, I almost feel like those should be filled in, but that still is really pretty on that. So I'm going to keep this. And I did this at 4 1/4. This is your basic card, and I'm just going to take a smidge off of each side so I still keep it centered. And because I don't want a full quarter. I need to change my blades on this. I hope I didn't do this too much. Okay. Now, gonna make this. I wanted this side to be 4 inches. Did I want to do that like that? So you're going to want to line your paper up. As you can see, this is relatively, okay, that's pretty fair. Except for, do I want to go over? Yeah, I think I want to go over. So what I'm going to do is cut this at 4 1/8, flip it around, and cut it at that other 1/8 off so that I have more of what I wanted on this. And then this is going to be 5 1/4. Let me make sure it's going to be which 5 1/4 it's going to be. No, 5 1/4 is going to come off the top. All right, so let's see what this looks good on. I know that this, oh hey Kim, I'm so sorry I was so distracted when you called between my meetings. I hope that we get a chance to catch up later. Okay, that matches too much. You know, so I went and I said to you guys that I thought that Night of Navy might look really good, and I'm going to go pull it because now I'm convinced it will be a better choice. If you put this onto colors that match what's in the paper, it just kind of blends in, and sometimes you're after that. That's what you want, but not us. We want to do something different. I always call Monday Meeting Monday in my world because I do a lot of meetings with advisors. All right. So I'm gonna cut this at 5 1/2. I'm gonna flip it, score it. Remember, I do not keep my scorer in here because I mix my scoring and cutting. No matter what I do, I've labeled it, doesn't matter. And very quickly you can see that my desk becomes a relatively fast mess. Oh, you guys, my arm is plural. So, flip this. Somebody's going to get a pretty card today. How can I have 4 bone folders and not be able to find one of them? There it is. I have to go find our die. She seems to be lost. A little adhesive. Yeah, okay, so I want to try this. I want to see if this works well for keeping the, okay. No, that didn't help. I was trying to get adhesive on it to see if it would. Yep, it rolls right up. So they have these, which is kind of nice. They're pretty thick. I'm actually going to try and stamp on it too. Flip it over. There's the Stampin' Up logo on that. You don't want that because you just don't want that in there to cause any kind of, see much better. And then you take your lighthouse, or I mean even your, that's pretty. Now I cut a lighthouse down. 1, 2. Here it is. This is not quite cut down. Okay, so I either did something a little off somewhere in this mess. What did everybody do this weekend? I know that Jennifer moved her daughter back home for the summer, which is always kind of nice. Okay. Sarah Grace informed me she's going to get an apartment with one of her aerial arts friends, so that's really, can't wait to, I don't want her to leave, but I'm excited that she's thinking about her next steps in life, right guys? Oh, it's been a week since I've used this. So I have been busy inventorying, you guys. So at the end of the month, and I haven't quite figured out, I thought I was going to do it over a weekend, but then I realized I'm going to need the weekend to pick and finish. So I don't know if you guys saw my reel, but my ask for this Mother's Day was that my family spend the time out in the garage with me, going through all of this crazy stuff that I have to get done, sorted up on a website. So the website will allow you to pick what you want and then let me know when you're done shopping, and then I will be able to create an invoice for you. I was hoping that it would actually invoice you, but it's not going to. Okay. This is a little bit off, but still super pretty. Take my scissors and just kind of trim that up just. And I am not going to run it through the cutter because I don't want the cutter to cause the black to get raggedy, and the cutter will cause, the black is really fibrous. The family is back and the dogs are barking, so. So Kim, did you do any nose trials? All right, look at that. So that turned out much better. It's a little off because I don't know how to cut, push my pieces down, put an inside in here. So that's a very easy card. Now, I think I've done this so I can do this other idea that I saw out and about. You don't even really need a sentiment on that front if you didn't want to put one there. I mean, you definitely can. And this set does not provide you like a good, trying to see if I have a quick punch around here to punch a sentiment. It doesn't look like I do. This set does not do a really good job in giving you like shapes to be able to stamp a sentiment on. So I always have a few extra pieces of scrap, which I am absolutely positive every single one of you has running around there. You did do it. I figured you did a nose work. How was Ziggy's visit? And I'm going to choose this pink Strawberry Slush, which I adore, and it matches this right there. So I'm just going to stamp that up. Hi, babe.
Cute.
It is very pretty. I will miss this color, pink. I really will. It's such a pretty color. And if you knew, you know, you're just sending this out to somebody fun. I don't have those people. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just do that up. Add a little doodle to it to make it cuter. Oh, golly, it helps if I keep the sentiment here, huh? Oh, this is the one where they're teaching you, right? So my sister trains dogs and does these trials for nose work with her pups. And organizes or helps organize volunteers and things like that. That's my sister Kim, and she lives in Illinois. Look at it. And just put that in the corner. Of course, throw some dots on it. And you have a pretty, cute little card. And of course, you got to put some embellishments because those sequins are super cute. And I can't wait to see how they pop on black because they are lighter. Let's see, do we have enough time? And there's that. And of course, we add some pretties. Very nice. So look at those, you guys. They're just really going to pop up. Now I use the pink for the sentiments, and I'm going to just use some random different ones to add some accents here. Anyway, you want to share out with any of your, as the next 2 weekends go by, that I am really going to be having to say goodbye to a lot of my, close my heart. I thought I'd be able to get back to it and do things with it, and of course that is not what's happening. Always like a little something something on either side of that. And there you go. And like I said, if you can really see that this is metallic-y. So you get a really nice shimmer, and then you have this that is not metallic-y. And I don't know how they managed to print the paper that way, but it's really neat. And then there's your inside of your card. Now, I love doing Z-folds because they're relatively easy and they look really cool, and they don't take a lot of
trying to remember things. And when you do Z-fold cards, this is literally what you do. You should score it. You got me. You take this really pretty paper and you're going to start off cutting it at 5 1/4. Decide which one, you know, whether you want your top or your bottom. And I want the dark C. And then take a look at this. If memory serves me correct, it's like 2 inches, 2 and a change. So you can do like 2 inches and you have a little bit of an edge. Probably need to do just a smidgen below 2 inches. So if you like those little lines, one before it. So you have like a 1/4 of an inch off here. Now this, you don't have to do a ton of stuff with, but I have some ideas. Get this out of the way. And anybody who would love to have a card, go ahead and pick a number between 1 and 30, closest to without going over or on the nose. You'll get it. Okay. Now, you're going to take this and think about how you cut it, because it's got to match. So it does that line up. It's just like your paper just keeps right on going, okay? And this is kind of like that hidden little aha thing in the center of it. Put this out here so you guys see to put that good there. And you can see that this is actually one of my favorite ways to utilize Scenic paper like this, is to create panel cards. And the Z-fold is a really easy panel card, and it doesn't take a ton to do. And then you can take some of your other pieces that you have, because they did all of those silhouettes. All of this is silhouettes. Put this on the edge like this. So you do lose some real estate as far as like writing a note. But look, so that looks like it's pretty close. Not quite. I need to square that up because I can't put things on square. Look at me go, you. Oh my goodness. By the way, this new Tombow is pretty wickedly I wanted it to be a little bit more lined up, but all right. Oh, I'm doing paper surgery here, guys. Here we go. That's lined up better. 5 and 17. So look, so that looks good just like it is. You don't even have to think about adding anything else if you don't want to it, besides a sentiment. Of course, you have to have a sentiment on it. I'm not saying not to put that on. But if you took, I don't know where that sunset thing went, but you very easily could put a rock on that, because there's a rock piece of it. Or you could start it and have that rock like this, but then when it opens, it's on the other side. You could take out a boat out of one of these. And we're just going to snip this. Okay. Your boat could be sailing in here on the sunset, or it could be sailing here. I'll just put him up there just because he's pretty. 517. Any other takers for all right. Okay, get your little glue gun out, because let me tell you, this is really delicately cut things, and you're not going to want to mess around with your combo or whatever adhesive you use. I was really going to, oh, here it is. That doesn't quite work very well. Although, it is kind of cool on there, but not what I would do. But you guys get the idea how you can just set this up so you can play on the different elements as you want to see fit. There's also two little baby. All right. Going, gone. Leslie, you are the closest to without going over. So that's awesome for you. There's also these two little baby sailboats. And since we're going to put one on, you know, I would add the other sailboats to this card. So just private message me your address. I don't know what I was going to do with these pieces, but this is the beginning of wonderfully playing with this card. And then, I don't know, how many of you guys like seagulls? I mean, maybe not so much to share your beach with, because I know that they can be just absolute nuisances on the beach. In California, they had no fear at all, and would just like come and take your stuff. Like, boom, hi, I'm here, I'm coming to get. And Leslie, you can let me, oh, shoot. Well, Leslie's our winner, Scarlett. But Leslie, you can send me your information. And here you go. You can create these cute little guys. But like I said, make sure you're using liquid glue. And there's 3 of them. Tweezers would probably be a very smart idea here. I don't know if that's quite right. Yep, no, they actually have it the other way around. I don't know that I like that either. But you can let me know which one of these you want. So you have a card, 2 little boats, and you open that up. And I actually have a 3rd little boat as soon as I find it in all this massive die cuts here. And I'll put the 3rd little boat on. But that's a really easy way to create a sweet card. And then I'll put some sort of a sentiment across the bottom here. And I do like that wherever it may find you. And I'll probably do the dark purple for that. 32 after. Oh, thank you, Bernice. I was like, what? So we have 2 pretty cards that we've just created. And yeah. Just kind of got our feet wet for all of the things, and stay tuned because I like this. So I'm going to try and create stuff, except for I am spending a lot of time in the garage. I really want this sale to go live the last week of May after Memorial Day. So it will go live whether it's completely inventoried or not. It's going live. Look at this. I love the fishing net. So there are dies and things you want from close to my heart and stamps of the yin yang, because I just decided I needed to part with just about everything except for some like really sentimental sets. Yep. All right. So now we have 2 very pretty cards to start our week off, because it's going to be a beautiful week. And Leslie, you travel home safe. And Jennifer, I'm glad you have your daughter back to visit. And Kim, you drive home safe if you're not home already. Wow. Susan just got on. So Susan and Scarlett, our winner is Leslie. She is the closest to 18 without going over. And Leslie gets to choose one of these 2 cards. I'll finish this one up and we'll see what. Thank you, ladies, and I'll see you on Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.